Port of Oakland is working with the Department of Agriculture to speed ag exports by using a temporary waterfront pop-up to help with congestion. For more on how this is going to work, we're going to the KCBS Ring Central Newsline and talk with David Arsenault, president at GSC Logistics. Dave, good to talk to you again. So this is what, 25 acres at the Port of Oakland, and it is what, to stage the containers that will be taking the product?
Yes, good morning, Holly and Eric. Let me just give a quick update in terms of where we are right now and what caused this to happen to begin with. As of yesterday, there were 6 vessels, container vessels at anchor, 9 adrift offshore. So there's 15 vessels waiting to get into the Port of Oakland. So the port's really been struggling to keep up with these increased cargo volumes that have been pushing through. And part of the solution to this is what they're referring to as a pop-up yard, which will help not just the exporters, but also the importers, because the container starts as an import shipment discharged off the vessel, going out to a distribution center, getting unloaded, and then the empty comes back to the port. But oftentimes the marine terminals are very congested, and they start to meter back in where the empties and when the empties can be returned, which really slows down the ability to pick up additional cargo. So this yard is a 22-acre yard has been established where these empties can be returned. They put on the ground to free up the chassis underneath the wheels so that cargo can continue to move very fluidly. But that now creates a staging area for the exporters to be able to come in, pick up an empty container, take it out to the valley to load, and bring it back in. But while they're referring to it as a pop-up yard, it's really, this pandemic has really, what it's done is it's accelerated the supply chain to a point of volume growth that we probably wouldn't have seen for maybe another 3 to 4 years, and it's pulled it forward. So it's really created stress in the supply chain, which really gives us a unique opportunity to identify where the weaknesses are in the supply chain today and take remedial actions. So this is a yard that I feel would really be something necessary for a longer term, not just a temporary pressure relief valve.
So to clarify this in my own mind, some of these containers, after they're offloaded, normally out of efficiency would take products back to wherever they came from. But because of the pandemic, they haven't been able to do that. And some of them have gone back empty, correct?
Well, yes, but that even pre-pandemic, there's 2 ways to fill a ship, by weight or by volume. And because of the nature of the product that is traditionally exported from this country, it tends to be much heavier cargo. So a full ship was generally laden with about 50% loads and 50% empties, just to even prior to the pandemic. But what this really does is it really helps alleviate some of the terminal congestion here with the 3 terminals in Oakland to provide an outlet for the empties to be returned by the importer and then picked up by the exporter to go back out to the valley to be loaded with export cargo.
And we're talking about like fresh fruits and dairy, things that can't be sitting around.
Exactly.
And frozen meats as well?
Yes. Well, so that's the part of the cold supply chain. Those tend to move in refrigerated containers. This facility can also house refrigerated containers that are empty. But there's also dried fruits and nuts and many other commodities that are grown here in the California Valley that are very large exports. And when Oakland was congested before, many of the ocean carriers began to bypass Oakland, and that really impacted the export community here on the West Coast, because Oakland had traditionally been the second port of call before going back to Asia, which meant that it had later cutoff times and shorter transits than if it was loaded to the south in LA Long Beach and then rode the ship up to Oakland. So it allowed for later picking and packing from the fields, later cutoffs, and faster transits for those perishable commodities.
Dave, thanks for the perspective. Dave Arsenault is president at GSC Logistics, a 22-acre yard opening at the Port of Oakland, sort of a staging area to help speed the supply chain with ag export.